I've,
Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of NC-17. My name is Josh, and today with us we have a writer, director, all around decent human being. We have Tyler Stanford with us. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. What about you?
I'm pretty good, pretty good.
It's nice.
It's been a minute since, like I've done some shows here and there, but it's been a minute since I've done a show where it's kind of like outside of something that I'm doing. So,
Yeah, yeah.
you
I've
know,
seen all your stuff about NC-17 and Not There, the movie that you're making, and yeah, I mean it's. I'm happy for you, man, for getting out there and making it and making a movie, and and I can't wait to see it.
appreciate you, appreciate you. Uh, we will get into all the good stuff because a lot of the people that are in my movie are also in a lot of your stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah. But before we kind of get into all that, take us back to when you were a child. Was there a key moment where you were like, you know what, when I get older, I want to be a writer or a director, or did someone influence you, or was it a movie or TV show?
Yeah. So the first real moment where I really wanted to become a writer, or more notably like a director or somebody in that industry, was when I was watching Jurassic Park, and the intricate sets that they made, and all of the I watched all the behind the scenes videos of it, and how they made that giant T-Rex, or bringing the Nedry death with the Dilophosaurus, and just bringing it to life. And it was just so fascinating to see how the things that I was watching in that movie were either animatronics or CGI, and I was just it was so like new to me, and I'm like, whoa, like I can do that, and probably. And really, when my dad introduced me to Godzilla, and at that a pretty young age, it was when I'm like, this shit's so I somebody made this, and I could potentially do that one day. Is really what got me interested in the notion of filmmaking, and the being a director, being a writer. And I'm like, so that's really where it started. My dad showing me Godzilla and introducing me to that character and that world and that mythos, and watching Jurassic Park and becoming a lover of dinosaurs and becoming a lover of Steven Spielberg, and just the behind the scenes magic of it all is really what got me into filmmaking.
Oh yeah. Uh, so as you were getting older and newer movies were coming out, and you saw that the arts and everything were kind of being upgraded and stuff like that, CGI and animatronics and stuff like that, was there, like, as you were getting older, did that love of film and just the art in general stick to the same level, or did it like heighten every time you saw something new?
Yeah. So every time I watched a new Godzilla movie, it was always still there. And every time I watched a new Jurassic Park movie, now called Jurassic World, it just got higher and higher. And I started watching a little bit of dramas, and outside of that just fantasy and all that stuff. I started watching dramas, sci-fi, thrillers, horrors, and everything. And it really, it was still in my mind, but it's because of this new technology and because of new things and new ideas and all these different things that filmmakers are doing nowadays, it really kind of heightened it for me. And really, the first instance where it really really got me interested was the trying to remember it. It was a horror movie. Yeah, I knew what it was. It was Halloween 2018, and it's still in that world. It's still in the horror stuff, but it really, again, it just, I watched the behind the scenes of it and how they're bringing it all to life, and then seeing it on screen. It's so different. So yeah, as time went on, as I started seeing more movies, it really heightened it for me.
Uh, so it's should be a fair assessment to say that you definitely love physical media because that's where you can see all the behind the scenes and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I like physical media, but I also like streaming and just watching. Yeah, I just physical media for me because you get those deleted scenes, you get those directors' commentaries, you get the stuff that you don't really see on streaming or on digital. So physical media, and that's me for like gaming too. I really want to have it in my hands and own it. So yeah, I really love physical media.
Oh yeah. All right, so let's go to the first thing you have written, and when you were coming up with the idea, what inspired you for your first project?
So Reconnected wasn't really the first thing I've written. The first thing I've written was it was this horror film called The Woods that I was really wanting to make. It was a horror film, and uh, it, it's really the idea evolved into something else, and I'm trying to make it once after everything. But what really inspired that was my love of horror. Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. All of that supernatural, just horror, thrillers, and every like other movies too. Especially Godzilla, even though that's completely different thing. Um, so yeah, my first thing I've written was The Woods, and then during Reconnected, when I was writing that, in 2022, I what inspired me to write that specifically was during that time, I'm not really wanting to get personal or anything. I was going through relationships ending, friendships, like starting or, going away. And it was a really, like weird time. And I was also looking back at my life and the friendships I've made and some friendships that I've lost. And, not really like officially lost. They're like one day people move away or move schools, and I was like, what if like I like we reconnected, and just like started talking again, and I was really moved by that, and I really wanted to make a film like that. So I started pulling stuff from you know what I was experiencing then, and then what I was thinking about reconnecting with that friend that I've lost a bond with, and that's where it all began. Reconnected right there. Writing the script, writing these characters is yeah, my basically my life, basically everything that happened that year, plus the stuff I've been thinking about. So that's really what inspired Reconnected.
Oh yeah. Uh, I will say Reconnected. I did watch it a couple times to be honest.
Oh.
uh, the first time, normally when I watch something, I watch it the first time pure entertainment, second time to kind of see what I missed.
Mhm.
But if I could keep going back, that means that you know there's something about it that kind of I will tell you I'm up to four times I've seen it already. So
Oh, oh, thank you.
yeah. Uh, so you already had the characters, you already had the story. What was it like seeing the auditions to bring these characters and pretty much your life to life on
It
screen?
was because this is the first project I've done. It was a really weird experience because I've wanted to make movies for a little bit. I've wanted to do this. And then being in that process, actually about to make the movie, seeing your characters be brought to life, during the auditions by numerous talent, by the way, and just seeing how they could portray these characters differently. One actress over the actor, like next, bam, bam, bam. It was a really like kind of emotional, but also really cool moment because you write these characters and you don't really know how they're going to sound. You have it in your head, but then when you see the actress or actor bring it to life, it's it was really so cool. And I yeah, that's really all I have to say. It was just so cool. And then giving the notes to the actors and actresses and seeing them. up their game by like so much. It was awesome. Like and you know that's when I knew I really knew when we were during the audition process and doing all of that pre-production stuff that it's finally happening and it was I was ecstatic. It was so cool.
Yeah. Uh, so once your film was done and you were in the editing room and you were kind of like just watching it back, did it come out the way you had hoped, or did it exceed your expectations?
A little bit of both. If okay, when we shot the film during the film, me and the other director, Lawan, um, who's also my friend, we met in school about it, and we just, oh my, but not to get sidetracked. Um, but during filming, I've made, I mean, filming it is one thing, and then going back and watching it through the editing room is another thing. So filming it, we had a good time. We like really, made that film that day and we like really nailed it. Going into the editing room, it was really like so I'm still blown away by it. So it did come out the way I hoped. And it like I edited it just having I really wanted like a fast-paced short film, and I think I really captured that. And just watching it over, watching the actors and the scenes, and like it actually, like editing it and coloring it and everything, it was really cool. And there's some camera angles that I could have done differently. Like we all have that, but overall, it really did turn out the way I that we hoped. And it honestly, me personally, it really blew my expectations in that like second half with Leonard and Grace as the two leads, grown up. During those scenes, I was like their chemistry and everything. I really was blown away by their performances and how they did their things. Filming it that day, again, different. But when you're watching it, as the movie and seeing their performances, it really just elevates the entire experience. And then having the music there, yeah, it came out, the way we hoped for. But there's some camera angles that we could have, I really wanted to like do. But again, I'm just overall happy with it and happy how everything turned out. And it couldn't have been better, honestly. So yeah, I'm just it was so great.
Oh yeah. So I do want to say, in the movie is kind of you hit a lot of different emotions. You know,
Hmm.
like you can tell that these friends don't want to. I don't want to ruin anything for it. You can tell what happens with
Yeah.
these friends in the early part of it, and then since it is called reconnecting and everything like that. I mean, it was kind of like a full circle moment because what those years they didn't have, they were able to kind of start building up again.
Hmm.
I will say that there was, again, I won't spoil that for anybody, but there was a very specific moment to where I was like, damn, this is really good.
I'm you might I'm really curious which moment. No.
uh,
You can do a spoiler warning, so if you want to.
well, here, I'll say this.
Okay.
It was the moment right before she walked into the store when Marley came walking around.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know,
It
and,
was a great
and to
that was a
me
great
that
moment.
that moment was kind of like I'm hooked. I'm sorry. It was good.
Yeah. Filming that scene with Marley there that day, it was really, and we have dialogue in the film. There's two reasons why the dialogue isn't there. Number one is because it's during the montage where they're living out their normal lives. The other reason was we were near a road and you could see the cars flying by. The cars annihilated the sound. So you could only hear the cars. You could barely hear the audio. But I have dialogue written, for that scene, and maybe I'll release it one day. And yeah, it was so fun working with Marley. She's a great actress, and with her working with Grace, another great actress, it was oh my god, it was great. It's like that oh that day, man, that day.
Oh, oh yeah.
Thank you
I'm,
though. I'm glad you that part really hooked you in.
oh yeah. It was sometimes it's the little like I don't want to say simple because making a film is nothing simple about that, but it's kind of like the little things that you don't get, to me at least, is what draws me in, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah,
You
the
know.
quiet moments.
Oh yeah. I will say that Grace and Leonard, hands down, me personally watching them, they made it easy for me to settle in for the third and for the fourth time. So
Oh yeah, man. I cannot sing their praises enough. They are honestly like their chemistry was so good, and yeah, they are just awesome, great actors, and they really elevated that movie. And I don't know what it would be like without them. It had like they're really the driving force of that movie. Everybody in that movie is, but they like Leonard and Grace. Oh my God, like so awesome.
oh yeah. Uh I do want to talk about another one you got coming out, and I'm familiar with someone else that's also in that film.
Yeah.
Will I Be Okay?
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, if you could kind of give us a synopsis about that without spoiling anything, and how you came up with that story.
Yeah. So, Will I Be Okay is set in the summer of 2024, and it follows Alex and Bella, two childhood best friends, as they live their not so great lives in the small and ordinary town of Devil's Ferry, New Hampshire. And together, through all their hardships, they find solace in their unwavering friendship, making the summer the best summer they can have before they go and leave college, or like no, leave high school and go into college, and try to make it the best summer they can. And really the last week of school, and like so it's a really emotional story about two best friends. Like it's a coming of age drama, and the main protagonist is Alex Turner. She is a 17-year-old um, high schooler who is really in throughout the film, really going through it, and really in her like childhood life, really, all throughout the film. So it's a really emotional story that I think will resonate with a ton of people. And it really resonates with me because it's semi autobiographical to my life. And, you know, that my dad showing me Godzilla, some of that's in there. Like I took really all aspects of my life and put it into this film. There are some really personal and emotional things that happened to me that are in this film, and especially in some instances in Bella's life, because we do get to see what Bella's life is like. It's not just only Alex, it's Alex and Bella, and doing what they do. And so it's a really emotional, yeah, it's I can't say it enough. It's an emotional coming of age drama that's not all emotions. There are some really lighthearted and fun moments because these two are teenagers, and because these two are childhood best friends. They have that camaraderie that you expect in that type of film. And I'm so glad that I'm so proud of the project and how it's coming along. I expect this year I can really finish up this latest draft of it and get all the main actors casted for it. Um, Again, you might. So yeah, I mean that's really the gist, the synopsis of Will I Be Okay, and I can't wait for everybody to see it in 2 years. And it's again, um, it's it's emotional and lighthearted. It's like the realest film I've made, probably.
Yeah. Uh, I see that you have. I don't want to say this name wrong. Uh, is it Daryl Russell?
Darren Russell.
Darren Russell. Sorry.
Yeah.
and Casey Rian, uh,
Hmm.
who I am familiar with.
Yeah.
Uh, so when you're like casting for your films, I mean, you got a good eye for talent. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. But it's
Uh,
also not me. It's also Angela Grimm, my, first AD and producer. She helps me a ton, so
yeah. Uh, so when it comes to like getting your stories out there and you're filming and stuff like that, do you have those days to where things might not go as planned, or like unforeseen circumstances make a day to where it just isn't a good day? And if so, how do you handle those days?
for like filming or for like all aspects, like writing or
All aspects.
so for Reconnected, thankfully, we didn't have really any bad day or anything where we were like, okay, like this isn't going as planned. When I'm writing, though, I have a ton of procrastination and writer's block. Not really writer's block, just writer's laze, where I'm just like wanting to do anything else but write. I want to watch a movie, talk to my friends, play video games, like do anything else but write. So that's really the bane of what I like me as a filmmaker does. And the way I try to get around that stuff. I mean, actually, I don't know how it's going to end up for Will I Be Okay? Hopefully, it's as just as good as Reconnected, where we don't have any bad days. But for really, when I'm writing, I kind of just like like I basically say to myself, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I just like write something, like whether I have a list of notes for Will I Be Okay? Like all the ideas and all the things I want to implement, not only in some new drafts, but like just ideas in general for the characters and how they are. Um, so I just write something down, for like if it's like an idea that I really need down that day, I just write out something basic and then touch it up. And I'm like, and it just gives me a little bit of inspiration where I'm like, okay, let's continue, let's continue writing it, see what we can do. And really that's just how I get around that stuff. So procrastination and writer's block, and yeah, that's really how I get around it. For filming though, whenever I am feeling some type of way, or like I or like when the actor or actress is like delivering something that like in my head it doesn't sound right, but in their head it does. I kind of like tell them, because honestly, I've heard that actors and actresses don't like you know you giving them notes, and I'm scared of that feeling, them lashing out or something. So I just try to like just try like I just like say basically like a basic direction, like be more exciting, or be more hopeful, or whatever, kind of like whatever they're reading or like saying that day. So that's really how I get around that stuff. And yeah, that's mostly it's due to writing though. Like writing is something else.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Uh, so if you can go back and tell 10-year-old you any advice that you know now that you didn't back then, what advice would that be?
Work harder if and don't be so doom and gloom about it. There are going to be times where during this kind of process and during this kind of, like thing you're passionate about, you're going to have moments where you're like, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I'm, you know, maybe, like all this sort of doom and gloom stuff. I would say don't worry about that. Focus on what makes you happy about the project, what you like about it. And, even if like you're worrying about getting a location, don't stress out about it. Call them, like call whoever owns it and try to get that location, no matter how scary it is, because like at the end of the day, you know you're making the movie. Even if you don't think about it, you're in the pre-production process, you're actually actively making the movie, and you're about to make it happen. You got to like just you got to be, yeah, work harder, be prepared, be very prepared, honestly, and um, don't think about the doom and gloom, and just think about, working on that day, like having, working with the actors, working with everybody else in the crew. That's really what's going to make it the day better, and how like the experience better, because you're all in this together, and you're just trying to make equally a great movie, and whatever, however it turns out, you have the set experience to be like, you know what, the movie may not be great, but I had a really great time. So I would say, don't worry about doom and gloom, and work harder and be prepared, because it is a really taxing industry. So, if you really, even if for an indie film, you just got to, like, if you got those three things, I don't think you're going to be in a rock and hard place for filming. So, yeah,
Uh,
that's what I would really say to my 10-year-old self.
nah. Uh, so on a flip side of that coin, what advice would you give somebody who's trying to get into the industry, whether it be writing, directing, acting, or just anything in the industry?
Yeah, I would say connect as much as you can, connect with, your local, you know, filmmaking groups, or like, people who are wanting to make a movie as much as you want to, and just connect, gain that social networking that you can, because that's really going to help you out. I'm thankful I met Angela through, Facebook and stuff like that, and she's been really great. And working with actors, look on, like, just look on, really, Facebook has been the like really big help for me somehow. And just go into filmmaking groups, go into acting groups, and just look at, um and, like, just connect. Really, that's, connect, and then write, pages, like, just write something. If you have an idea, just write it. If you have an idea like me, what I do is just put it down in my notes app, and just like flesh it out a little bit and see if, like, this is something I want to make. That's really what I did with Will I Be Okay? Not as much as Reconnected. I just like wrote everything, and then that turned, yeah. So really write, as much as you can, and then connect as much as you can, because connecting and social networking is really going to help you out. It's going to let you meet so many great people and so many great actors who are really passionate about what they do, and who are, and like, it's those two things is really what I would say to somebody who's really wanting to do this.
Uh, uh, so what does the future hold for you after Will I Be Okay? Because
Yeah,
a lot of people are like, they don't want to have a 5 year plan or a 10 year plan. I mean, but I do know people who have
I do.
plans for years.
Yeah, well, I do have a plan for years and years to come. After Will I Be Okay? We, I'm hoping, man, I'm hoping to work on Marvel Girl, which is a project that I am writing, and like, well, co-writing, and like working with the story with Bryn Damai, who you've had on the podcast
Yeah.
before, and we're hoping to release it July of 2028. I'm probably not going to be on set though. Um, and then after that, I do have a sequel planned for Will I Be Okay? Or not really Will I Be Okay? I misspoke. I meant Reconnected. I have a sequel planned for Reconnected, called Reconnected Forever. And that's currently, we're hoping to put it out in June of 2029. It's a really great story, and it'll have Leonard and Grace back. And yeah, it's a really emotional, touching story. I don't really think, I can say much about it right now. I have the idea and I have the story. Um, and yeah, that's really all that I have planned. I do have other projects, Pope Lick, which I was wanting to make this year. That got delayed and pushed back indefinitely. I'm still really wanting to make Pope Lick because it's awesome, and it's a great, project that has Marley Arnold, in it, and it's a really great story. And you know, if Will I Be Okay is good, and I have a idea planned. I would still love to, do a sequel for Will I Be Okay in the future. And really, that's all that I have planned right now. I am working on a fan film of the video game Control, which I do plan on making in or releasing in the really Christmas of 2028, and that's with you know just pretty probably local. But yeah, that's really all I have planned out right now. And yeah, I mean, I'm still working on other projects that are unannounced. So if the idea is great and the script is great and the story is phenomenal, I will definitely you know make it. So that'll probably fit in with what I have. But so far, that's all I have going on right now. And it's a yeah. So really, that's all.
Yeah. So we are getting near the end of the show, but I do want to give you a few moments to before you plug your socials and everything, and where people can watch your movies and stuff. Is there anything you want to say to the audience or just people who are in your life and that you haven't had a chance to say, or just something that you want to say just in general? If so, you have a couple minutes to say whatever you want.
Yeah. So thank you to everybody who has watched and supported Reconnected. It really means the world to me, and I really want to thank Angela Grimm, who was the first AD and the producer for Reconnected, and is going to be the first AD and producer for Will I Be Okay. She has been a great, fantastic help for Reconnected, and Will I Be Okay. She has been busy, so Will I Be Okay. I haven't been talking to her much. I've been focusing on Reconnected only, releasing it and trying to do it. But really, thank you, Angela, for helping me throughout all this. Thank you, Leonard. Thank you, Grace, and for just being the best people that I know, and really uh like your performances, don't let anybody tell you, that your performances are mediocre, because they are not. They are awesome performances. You all are great actors and actresses. And, you made Reconnected you're like they oh my God, and I want to thank everybody else, who I know in the acting industry, to everybody I've talked to, thank you for, you know, letting me you know, just have the potential to work with you and talking to you and, auditioning for my projects. Really want to thank you. I wanted to thank Lawan Odom, who co-directed Reconnected with me. Great friend, and he was a great help on Reconnected. And I really want to make something with him again, hopefully for Reconnected too. We reteam and reconnect with that. And my family and my friends, I really want to thank them for supporting me as well, and really making me, I guess, do this thing and giving me the motivation and everything that I need for making a film. And I really, yeah, I honestly thank everybody for everything and anything, honestly. And Marley, I thank her as well for auditioning for Flick and stuff like that. She is going to be in Will I Be Okay as well, and I can't wait to work with her. She's a great actress, and I thank her for giving me the chance to work, showing her interest and the stuff I do. And she's fantastic, and I can't thank her enough, and I just can't thank everybody enough. My socials, on Instagram, it's at it's Tyler Stanford, all lowercase, all one word. On Facebook, it's just Tyler Stanford. On YouTube, it is it'll be probably, I'll have to link it. I'll have to change the username for that. But right now, it's exactly zero, all lowercase, all one word. But the O in zero is actual zero. I made that shit when I was 15. Uh, and you can watch Reconnected on YouTube right now. It's up there. You don't have to pay for anything. You can just watch it for free, however many times you want to. That's really all the social I have. On Twitter, it's Vacancy Tyler, capital V and capital T. Uh, I don't really post on there. I just reply to like, whatever I see. And just like that's more of my fucking like just fun account, I guess. I'd get all into the nerdy stuff on there and, stuff. So that's really all the socials I'm active on. I'm not really active on anything else like Threads or Blue Sky or whatever, but those are the main socials that I have.
All right. Before we go, I do want to thank you, Tyler, for coming on, and I also want to thank you for putting out an awesome movie and letting the world see a different side of the entertainment world because Reconnected shifts, in my opinion, it shifts away from the horror, which is my favorite genre. It
Hmm.
shifts away from everything that that the entertainment world is right now, and I'm like, it's refreshing seeing original stories come to life. It's refreshing seeing these actors and actresses bring these characters and these stories to the screen. So, in that aspect, you are succeeding in strides, my friend. And I appreciate you and thank you for what you do for the community. So,
Thank you. Thank you. You too. I really appreciate that. I do want to say something a little bit before I go, though, or before we like end this thing. Um, Reconnected and Will I Be Okay are in the same universe. I do have a thing going on with that. Marvel Girl is as well, and really all of my products that I plan to make are in the same world. It's not some Marvel or Star Wars thing going on or DC. I just really want them to feel real and that these characters are just everyday people going through, whether that is horror. If I do make a horror movie, that's also going to be in here. And it just like it's you know, there's moments where we get the quiet stuff with Reconnected and Will I Be Okay, but then we get the crazy stuff with Marvel Girl and Pope Lick or something like that. But they're all in the same world, and it's really meant to be a feel like this, everyday people going through whatever in their life, and it's really what is cool to me. And it's really interesting to have sort of that because not really any films take place in the same world. You don't really have like a universe thing going on. So they're all in there, and I thank you, Josh, again for having me on and just having like having everybody on, in the film industry, actors or actresses or producers or directors or writers. You do a great job, and don't let anybody try to stop you because you are the you're a great bridge between the indie world. If somebody wants to probably become a filmmaker, they can watch your podcast and have the like see the director talking about everything, or an actress or an actor. So thank you for having me on. And yeah, I'm just excited to be here and excited to uh, promote, I guess, Reconnected, and share it with everybody, and see what I do.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Uh, Now I have to have Grace and Leonard on.
I do. Yeah. I do
I
want to get everybody, all of us on there and just talk about it because it's going to be, they're really great, you know, chemistry. Their chemistry is just off the charts and they're really great performers. And I would love to have, LaJuan and I on and with Leonard and Grace and just talk about it. So we have to set something up now. Fuck.
hey,
I'm
we
excited.
can just
Yeah.
you reach out to them and let me know what they say. We will definitely set something up.
Awesome. Awesome.
Uh, I normally end every show with saying everyone stay in NC-17. I've been changing it up a lot. So I'll say this in honor of our guest today. Friendships come and go, but true bonds last forever. And at the end of the day, if you do lose a connection, just reach out because you never know. You might be reconnected.
Yeah.
All
That's great. That's great. No
right.
truer words ever spoken.
Oh, yeah. Everybody, until next time, Tyler, thank you for coming on. I always tell everybody once you've been on NC-17, you have a home with us, so you're more than welcome on anytime. Whether it's to talk movies, promote movies, or just say, Josh, you got a booger in your nose. Yeah. But I clean it out every day, so.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure and an honor, and I look forward to the next time we talk, my friend.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me on. I can't wait to be back on here whenever, probably for Will I Be Okay or having that thing with Leonard and Grace. That's probably the next thing up. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
thank you.
you're welcome. All right, everybody, be good.
Good.